It's your girl, Dr. Rhonda M. Lawson, and I am back with a new episode of the Horizons Author Lounge. I hope y'all didn't miss me too badly. I know I took a little bit of a break last week, but as many of you know, I was in Houston, Texas for the National Black Book Festival, and it was an experience. So if I didn't have a chance to meet you and you were there, my apologies. But if I did meet you out there, it was a pleasure, and I want us to make sure we stay in touch. Well, tonight, we are kicking off a series for all of November. We are going to be meeting the authors who are connected with a new book tour called the Literacy Code. Also, and if you've been following me for a while, you've heard me talking a bit about the creators' rights movement. And so we're going to be talking about both of those throughout this month. If you have not signed a petition for the creators' rights movement, this is the time to do it. If you go to the website creatorsrightsmovement.com, you can find out all about this special movement that we're doing to help change these outdated copyright laws. I know you probably don't think it's a big deal, but it's a huge deal, because if you have put your blood, sweat, and tears into your intellectual property, you don't want it to go away just because the copyright ran out. If it's perpetual, if it keeps going on and on and on, you can actually pass down your intellectual property to your family so your family can continue to benefit from your hard work. You don't want your hard work to benefit everybody. You want it to benefit those who you love the most. So that's what the Creators' Rights Movement is all about. So if you go to the website, creatorsrightsmovement.com, and I will put the link in the chat for you so you can take a look at it. But if you go to the movement, you will find more information about this very, very important movement and how you can be a part of it. But in the meantime, in between time, it is time to meet our first guest, Miss Gale Rucker. Hello.
Hello, everyone.
You look so fabulous. I meant to tell you that before the show started. I love it.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate this. It's a labor of love.
All right, now I love that. So tell us a bit about yourself. Who is Gale Rucker?
Gale Rucker. I am a former substitute school teacher. I used to be a makeup artist. I come from the world of beauty. So I stepped into the arena of being an author. 2 kids. I am a recent widower. And I am in the process of recapturing and regaining my footing and getting my life back together.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, you are doing it. And I can already tell that you come from the world of beauty, because like I said, the hair, the makeup, you were just doing it. So thank you for just blessing us with your fabulousness tonight.
Thank you, darling. You're welcome.
So now, coming from the world of beauty, you also come from a few different worlds, so to speak. And you have a lot going on right now. So can you tell us about some of the projects that you're involved in?
Well, I write a 9-part series, Racy. I am a romantic and erotic architect. Some people don't like erotic or erotica, so I stepped into the arena to become a romantic architect also. But sometimes sex, violence, and vulgarity some days entertains me. So I write naughty stories about them. But there is still a love junkie that lives in me. So I write romance also. So the dualities are constantly battling one another.
Okay, I love that. Now, do you bring the naughty world and the romantic world together? I mean, is it a naughty story that has a romantic happy ending?
Yes. Yes. And sometimes I just write erotica. So, why lie? Yeah. Why lie? Yeah, sometimes, because sometimes they do intertwine and they do mingle. And,
Yes.
you do what adults do, and I'm an adult. So why should I say, oh, he just kissed me and that's all? No, I'm going to tell you
Mm.
all the steps that happen in between to get you from point A to H.
Okay, I am not mad at that. So you have a series. Can you tell me a bit about the series, and do you have the books with you?
Yes, I do. I have 3 series. My latest one, which is on the bestseller, is called Coffee Fairy Tales. It's where I used to be a coffee vendor and I turned
Mm.
all of the coffees into romantic uh, middle-aged people. It's no disrespect for the seniors, I mean for the youth, but I wanted stories to encapsulate people of a certain age. And some people, like myself, a widower, sometimes people
Mm.
around my age feel as if love has forgotten about them. So I
Mm.
turned the coffees into people and I told you romantic love stories. Like it's
That's
never too late.
interesting.
It's never too late. And my second series is called Dessert Novella Suites. It's an actual cookbook because I tell naughty stories after world famous desserts. And I do a podcast also. So I tell you the story. You hear me tell it to you. And if you secure one of my Dessert Novella Suites Cookbook, you can, inside of the book, you get to see the beautiful dessert. You get to have the complete dessert or the recipe upon how to make said dessert. And then on the next page, a naughty little story presents itself. So you have to have your mind right when you step into that arena because it's not my
Mm.
intent to offend anyone. I'm just making you aware that a lot of sex, violence, and vulgarity will be sprinkled through the story. Why
So,
lie?
in other words, somebody's going to have to be very careful when they pick up this cookbook,
That's right. It's not your mom or your grandmom's cookbook. It's
or
not
your,
that.
or your child's cookbook either.
And then the one that got it started for me was my series of stories called the R series, rated R for Roxanne. And Roxanne is a woman who lives in Sacramento, California, where I'm from, and she runs a thriving Lexus car dealership. And all of the trials and tribulations and the sham and the drudgery that goes on in everyday life is in this book. There's a lot of sex, violence, but she's still telling you a story because in the book, my character is like 45 years old and she's
Okay.
telling you how her life is falling apart. And you get to walk with her. You get to meet some of the people that she has to do battle with. You get to meet the siblings, the parents, the grandparents. And then in the midst of all of the battles that Roxanne endures, God has assigned her in her own personal angelic team. She has 3 angels that walk with her, and
Mm.
they are her S talker, S kicker, and S kicker talker. I forgot my own. Oh my God, I was trying to clean it up. Talker, kicker, and
Oh my
I
goodness.
forgot. But they're all her angels are very centered individuals. But Roxanne, like most people, sometimes she doesn't listen. So
Mm.
therefore, they have to stand in the arena when she's doing battle with whatever shows up. So her angels are continually talking to her, and she calls them her personal ESAD. Those are the initials, ESAD. Those are the initials of her angels. It's Ernestine, Samantha, Ann, and Danielle. Those are her 3 angels, and she calls them her ESAD. The S kicker, S talker, and S kicker. kid cutter. Yeah. Cutter. Yeah. Trying to keep this PG, because I don't wish to offend anyone, but it's a lot of violence, vulgarity, and lots of sex and some fun. I fell in love inside of my story. I fell in love all over again because I was cleaning out some of the cobwebs that were in my life. And I put it on paper and I was like, I totally forgot about that. And then I sprinkled in some laughter because what is life if you can't laugh at yourself? Even if you're cursing yourself out, what is life? So those are my 3 series. And there's more to come. Like I said, I do a podcast where I tell the listener the naughty little story. And I always make them aware, get your mind right, because I'm not for everyone, but for the people that I am for, they thoroughly enjoy and they enjoy being entertained by some of my racy, adventurous, and naughty stories.
Well, I must say that you have quite the imagination.
Thank you.
And I love the fact that you make no apologies for that imagination.
Why lie? It saved my imagination has saved my life several times. So even my kids sometimes they be like, I don't even know where you come up with this stuff. I said, it was God. It's not me. It was God, because I thought that I was going to just be in the world of beauty, makeup, clothing design. I thought all of that stuff. But God had another plan for me, because it was God that whispered to me to become an author. And I was telling the Lord everything that I was not. I was like, God, I didn't go to school for that. I don't possess those skills. I don't know what I'm doing. And we kept having this conversation. And finally, the last time the Lord and I spoke about it, the Lord said, well, you know what? I've given you the stories 3 different times. If you do not take them, I'm going to give them to somebody else. And I was like, come on, God. So I went on, I said, okay, I surrender. Surrender. Okay, God. I said, now, I'm not an author. I don't know that world. God said, I'm going to make you qualified. Okay. So after all of the going back and forth and me saying no, I stepped into the arena and I was like, I tell everyone ahead of time, I don't have a clue what I'm doing, but I'm trying. I'm trying. So please be patient with me. And if by chance I make mistakes, charge it to my head, not my heart. I'm trying. And so then when I started finding my place in that arena and standing under that erotic umbrella, I was like, hot damn. I'm sorry. Once I found my place, I said, oh, I can do this. Oh, I can do this effortlessly. So that's where I am.
Wow. Well, I've got to ask, when you finally decided to take this God-given talent to write, what was it that attracted you to this type of writing?
The genre?
Yes.
Because my mind sometimes slips into the gutter. And sometimes I like to be entertained. And why write something that's ho-hum? I'm not that chick. I can tell you a great story, but it took me a moment to learn how to write a great story. So after I stood there, I kept putting it down because my father's a minister. I had no desire to embarrass anyone, but vulgarity and sex and violence was entertaining me. And so I had to talk to my father. I said, Daddy, I'm thinking of becoming an author, but I'm unsure, because, I can tell you a sweet, uncomplicated story, but why lie? Life is not like that. Life gives you all the sham and drudgery and then kicks you in the rear end behind it. So I decided to encase all of that I wanted you to see, I wanted you to experience some of the craziness that goes
Yeah.
on in my character's life, because I don't get, even though I write about fairy tales, not too many people live fairy tales. So I was just telling you, the misunderstandings that my character would have with some people that work for her, her family members, just life, how life is lifing with all of us. It's not
Mm-hmm.
all butterflies and rainbows, even though butterflies and rainbows are cool. But the
Yeah.
reality is, we get to see sometimes the darker side of some things that we don't really want to see. So,
Right. Right.
yeah. So I just in, incorporated that into some of my writing. There's a romantic and a funny thread, because we're better to laugh at yourself than inside of a story. So I
Good
made
point.
sure that the comedy was there. I didn't set off or start off for it to be comedic, but it walked down that street. So my stories occupy 5 different genres. So that's how that happened.
All right. I love that. And I love how intentional you are about the direction that you wanted to take your writing and the stories that you're creating.
Thank you. I had a blast inside of them. When my character experienced heartache, I experienced it too, because it was
Yeah.
like I was that proverbial fly on the wall, and I'm sitting there watching everything unfold. So I write sometimes just like I speak. So I'm telling you what's going on in the room, what the character is wearing, what her thoughts are. She already is aware that a misunderstanding is going to happen, because she's tired of people walking over her, dismissing and discounting her, and taking her for granted. And it
Right.
took her to be 45 for her to get her gumption about herself. And just
Yeah.
she just got tired and started speaking her truth. So that's how it happened.
Lovely. Lovely. Now you're going to be a part of a book tour that's coming up called the Literacy Code.
Yes, I welcome that, because it was like when I started writing, I never had a passport before, but I felt as if my passport had been stamped in the literary arena. I was like, "Oh, I can do this. I can tell a child's fairy tale or a kid's story, but that's not my forte. I'm
Yeah.
more so on the spicier side of life." But
And there's an audience for the spicier
yeah,
side of life too. Everybody doesn't want to read a self-help or a how-to or even a just a regular romance novel.
yeah,
Sometimes people want something that's spicy.
yeah. And I'm going to give you a tour, because, like I said, sometimes my mind slips into the gutter some days, but I have to pull myself back out. But make no mistake, it's there. Whatever it is that you're looking for, just keep reading. It's there.
Awesome. So, you think this literacy code audience is ready for you?
I believe that they are, because inside of my coffee fairy tales, this is the first book I ever wrote with no vulgar language, no sex. And trust and believe me, I struggled like nobody's business. I was like, I can't believe I can't. I chose not to say anything, because God and I had to have a conversation about that. And God said, "You already know what it's like to write erotica. Why don't you see what it's like on the other side?"
Mm,
And I was like, "Yeah, I never thought about it like that. I already know, because my Roxanne is filled with violence and vulgarity, and so are my dessert novellas. But my coffee fairy tales, there's not one vulgar word in the story, but everything is implied. You are an
mhm.
adult, you know what adults do.
Yeah,
So it's there, it's just undercover, incognito. So,
lovely. I love that. So, now you mentioned that you have a podcast. When does your podcast come on? How often? And how can people find it?
When you go to my website, my CamilleSt. Charles, Mississippi.com, the podcast is listed there, and you can just click the button. It says go listen to a podcast. I have over 20 something, 25 different stories. I have not submitted a new entry because of the death of my husband. That threw me for a loop. So now
Right.
I'm just now getting my fighting spirit back in check. So I'm working on something. I'm working on 3 stories right now. Hopefully they will be on the podcast before the end of the year. They will be a
Okay.
Christmas bundle.
Oh,
So
now that would be awesome.
yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
is when will the Christmas bundle? Well, when do you think it'll be ready?
I am not sure. I'm hoping to have them done by the end of this month so I can put it out there for December, but it'll be 3 different stories. It's the same story. It's 3 different versions of said story, and they all
Okay.
are racy, adventurous, and naughty. So if language like that offends you, I am not the author for you. So I'm just making the audience aware I'm very spicy.
All right, very spicy. Well, that just means that you're very careful about the audiences that you present your books to.
I'm calculated. Yeah. I have no desire to offend because, I grew up in the church. My father's a minister. And when I
Right.
struggled with sex, he said, baby, sex is a God given creation. It has nothing to do with you. So
Mm.
tell the story. He said, if you've ever read the Bible completely, there's a lot of things in there that are implied or suggested. He said, you have no shame to offer anyone. You're just telling a story, and you didn't create sex. You're just telling a story. So once he gave me that bit of knowledge, it cleared the path for me to go wild.
There you go. So, what projects do you have coming up?
What do I what now? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
What types of projects do you have coming up?
Well, I'm going to be on the literacy tour. I'm
Mhm.
welcoming traveling around and discussing literacy because it took me a moment to get myself together to learn. I
Mhm.
didn't learn like everybody else. It's just I didn't pay attention like I needed to. So once I really started reading, oh, the world just opened up for me. And I am not one of anything. An assortment of things entertain me. And being an author, an avid reader, oh my God, the stars are the limits for me. I just sit there and I read. And if by chance I don't actually sit down and read, I'm always listening to a book. I am a
Yeah,
proponent of audibles, and I
I,
listen to
I love
I
audiobooks.
love
I was
audibles.
listening to an audiobook on the way home today.
Yes.
Give me an audiobook and you don't even have to worry about me. I'll just sit in the
Yes,
corner and be quiet.
I feel the same. I feel the same way. I love listening. I love learning. I like being entertained, and it's like stepping into different worlds. It's like
Yes.
I put on another pair of shoes and I'm in a mystery. I put on another pair of glasses. I am in a romantic ensemble. I
Wait, so
put
you have
on
a
some
different pair of glasses for every mood?
No, I basically keep my red ones, but I have an assortment of glasses all through the house. I am the female Fred Sanford. I put glasses. I have glasses in my shirt, in my hair, in my pockets, and I'm walking through the house saying, "Where are my glasses?" But they're right there. But I have an assortment of colors, but red is like my signature. Red's the signature one. She's the girl that's always with me. So.
Got it. Got
Mhm.
it. I am not mad at that. So, do you have another book on the horizon?
I do. Uh,
Okay.
it's a more dessert novella suites. I am writing a book about dogs because my son has a dog, and I'm not an actual grandmother pertaining to a child. I'm a grandmother pertaining to a dog. So, I talk about our encounters and our experiences, and I feel as if sometimes the dog and I link up mentally when we're walking
Yeah.
down the street and I'm sitting there looking at stuff unfold, or a cat will present themselves to us and my dog's like, just let me at her, grandma, just let me get her. So, all of that. And I was going to turn that book to a children's book.
Mm-hmm.
But the truth of the matter is, when I'm having the conversation in my mind, it's not PG. So therefore, it's going to be an adult read, but it's about
Right.
me and the dog. Yes. So that's the one I'm working on. I have an assortment of things that I am doing. I help ghostwrite. I help proofread. I do an assortment of things, but you might find me everywhere. So keep an eye out for me because I'm coming. It's just I had a hiccup for a minute, but now I'm coming back. So
Lovely. Well, tell us where we can find you.
you can find me, you can go to my books website, Camille St. Charles, Mississippi.com. And from there, it takes you any and everywhere that I've been. I'm also on YouTube. Uh, I'm not as active as I would like to be, but I'm still there. It's coming. So uh, you can go to Barnes and Noble online. You can go to the Apple Bookstore online, and you can find me. You can find some of my offerings, and you can hear me. You can go to Amazon.com. Some of my books are there. So just type it in, Camille St. Charles, Mississippi, because I was named after a storm.
Uh,
That's where the Camille came from. Uh,
Hurricane Camille.
Hurricane Camille.
Yes,
Yes,
I'm
my mom.
quite familiar.
I'm quite familiar too because I was a little girl and that storm showed up in Jackson, Mississippi, and she whipped the South's tail. So,
Yes, she did. Yes, she did.
yeah. So keep an eye out for me. I'm coming. I'm coming.
All right. Well, we will definitely be keeping an eye out for you. And I want to thank you so much for being a part of the Horizons Author Lounge. Thank you for all that you're doing as part of the Literacy Code. And before we sign off, I don't know if you heard me at the beginning of the show. I was talking about the creators' rights movement and the importance of protecting our copyrights and changing outdated copyright laws so that the copyrights for our stories can be perpetual and not expire after a certain amount of time. Why do you think something like that is important?
Well, because you need to have the possession of your own bodies of work. And also, people have a tendency of taking something, changing it just slightly and saying it's new and it's theirs. So copyright secures and it protects. And it encases, because I was involved in a case like that for China. They were trying
Mm.
to take one of my books and saying that it was theirs. And I was
Oh,
like, oh,
wow.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, boys and girls. I have the copyright. And I said, contact me. So we had to get that taken care of. And I had to find out each nation has their own set of rules. So the rules that work in the US might not necessarily be the rules that they follow in China. So you need to be knowledgeable.
There you go. There you go. So, another reason why it is very important for everybody to go to the Creators' Rights Movement and get more information on how you can sign this petition so we can change these outdated copyright laws. We want our intellectual property, the work that we slave so hard over, because it's not easy to write a book.
No,
But
it's not.
yeah, but it's not just about books either. It's
Yes,
also
I know.
about music. It's about art. Anything that you would put a copyright on.
Yes,
We want to be able to protect that.
yes, yes. Because that's your imagination is like your tour guide through this world. You can
Yeah.
go any and everywhere, but you don't want a coattail rider stepping on and saying, hey, I helped you with this, or I'm part of that. No, if you don't have the paperwork, you know what I'm saying, because I've been there. I've been in those battles, and it was just it was disheartening to see people trying to take and deconstruct something that you've done. I don't remember seeing you there when I'm up at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning writing all of
Yes.
this stuff and
Yes.
imagining and dreaming it up. And then someone else is going to say, oh, well, I helped you. I gave you a word. So technically, I helped you co-write this.
If it were only that easy.
Girl, please.
Thank you once again, Gale, for being a part of the show. And may God continue to bless all that you do. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rhonda. I have thoroughly enjoyed this, and I welcome our next adventure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Likewise. You have a great night.
You have a great one also. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, y'all. That was author Gale Rucker. She, as you can see, she is amazing. So please make sure you go out and look for her books and support those books. Now, without any further ado, yes, thank you very much, Daniel. Camille St. Oh, you can go ahead and put it back on. There we go. Camille St. Charles, Mississippi.com. So now we're going to meet our next guest, Miss Kimmisha Michels, and I hope she's going to tell me I said it correctly. I'm gonna give her a second. But while I'm giving her a second, if you have not heard about the Black History Month Literary Weekend, I'm gonna need you to get your life. But just in case you were wondering, this is Black History Month Literary
Get ready
Weekend.
for New Orleans. Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl, Dr. Rhonda M. Lawson, and I am personally inviting you to save the date for the 2026 Black History Month Literary Weekend. This February marks 10 years of celebrating literacy and our history, and we're taking it back to New Orleans, where it all began. Join us and meet these amazing authors: Michelle Knight, Royce Dixon, Chef Diana Riley, Lillian Joseph, Dr. Audrey Ann Moses, Dr. Emily Woolcock, Dr. LaTracy McDonald, Mark Beausejour, Eloja Hadley, Kevin Wayne Johnson, Tori Q. Jones, Marvin O'Brien, Karen Stampley, and Michelle Roney. February 19th through the 21st, we're taking over New Orleans for an
All right, y'all. That is the Black History Month Literary Weekend coming to you in New Orleans, February 19th through the 21st. And I want to see you there. So stay tuned because more information is coming. And I really want you guys to be a part of this because this is going to be unforgettable. But in the meantime and in between time, our special guest is settled. Hello, Kimmisha.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you? Thank you for joining me tonight.
Well, thank you for having me as your guest this evening.
Now, tell me, before we get started, is it Kimmisha Michels?
Kimmisha Michels.
Michels. Okay, so that's why I said I wanted to ask. I hate saying people's name wrong.
Oh, trust me, I know. I grew up and people used to butcher my name. And
Oh,
so I got tired of people butchering my name. And so I started going by Kim. as a nickname. And then when I got older, I was like, you know what? I think I'm just going to go back to my birth name.
Well, nothing wrong with that. Now, I would tell you, at least people butchered your name on accident. People used to call me Rahonda.
Rwanda. I don't know how they get Rwanda.
That's what I'm saying. But they were doing it on purpose. Rahonda. Like, that's not my name.
Yes, I remember people used to think, um, oh, your name is Kimberly. And I'd be like, no, not Kimberly. I'm not a Kimberly. I'm a Kamisha. Don't call me that.
I love that. Well, now we've talked about names, but tell me about Kimmisha the author.
Oh,
And
my.
also, before you even get started, you're more than just an author. I visited your webpage, and you do a lot of things for your clients. So let's start with that, and then we can go right into the author piece.
Okay. So I am a creative. I do a variety of designs, whether it's branding, book covers, signage, and specialty stuff. Specialty items is kind of like my gig.
Okay, now when we talk about specialty items, what do we mean?
So bereavement is one of them. Um, when my mom passed away, and we went to the mortuary to design her services, I did not like those templates.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, those templates said there was nothing special about her, that she was
Mm.
just like everybody else. And so I didn't want my mom's last memory to be defined by a template. So I
Makes
decided to create my own bereavement line. Went back to the mortuary that serviced my mom and was a design specialist. I did a lot of their high profile funerals.
Well,
And
that's awesome because it's something that we don't think about until we have to think about it.
mhm.
So the fact that you saw this need and decided that you were going to move forward with creating something for other people so they didn't have to go through this. And I love what you said is that the templates that you saw made it seem like there was nothing special about the person. And you needed people to see that there was a different way.
That's right. That every life mattered.
Yes.
Even if they're the so called black sheep in the family, I figured out a way how to get around it. We told custom stories, um, and gave just a ton of options, different layouts. You didn't have to stick with their traditional layouts because most funeral homes, they use a big design company and they just throw it in a template and bada bang, or I
Right,
should say
right.
bada bang, bada boom, just an assembly line. It doesn't matter. You know, thanks, I'll collect your money, but there's nothing really personal about it. And then when I just got to looking at the market and doing the research, I saw that businesses were also conditioned to accepting the same thing. There's nothing special about you. Here, buy this template. Let's just change your colors and slap your logo on, and you're done. And by the way, that'll be $5,000 for that.
Mm-mm-mm.
There was none of the
Yeah.
brand's personality. And even though it has gotten better over the years, it's still that let me just slap, let me just throw a template on you.
Right, right. And especially when the person had lived out loud and the person didn't fit into a template, why do we want to force them into a template now that they've passed?
Because it's easy. Not only is it, well, it really isn't that easy because the same amount of time that it takes to edit a template, you could do a custom design.
Well, it's good that there are people out there who are thinking about that, because often when somebody's lost a loved one, they're not thinking on that level. So I'm really glad to know that there are companies like yours that help us through this process. And I think it almost makes the grieving process go a little bit easier.
Yeah, I I have this natural ability to read in between the lines and pick up the essence. Because a lot of times all I got was a piece of paper with date, birth, death date, and nothing about who they were. And so just followed my gut instinct. And even though I sweated the whole time of, oh my gosh, what if I'm off on the design? Um, but that wasn't even the case. When it was presented, most of the time people are like, how did you even know? I'm like,
Mm,
I, I didn't. I just went off a gut feeling. And a lot of times my designs are based off of gut feelings. And sometimes, people don't, why did you take this direction? And it's hard to explain because that's what my gut said to do.
right, right. That's awesome. Now, you actually moved into writing, as in not just obituaries or so forth, but now you're actually writing books. What are your books about?
um, most of it, well, most of the books that I have been in have been anthologies. And I just talked about my journey from being in a narcissistic marriage
Mm.
and how it just crippled me. I lost all my self esteem. I got into this habit of hiding, afraid to be seen. Um, I wanted to share my work, but as long as I can hide so no one could see my face or know that it was me who put it out.
So, what is your latest anthology?
Um, the last one that I did was the
That's
um,
a very striking cover.
yes. So this is one of my designs.
Oh,
So this book is about breaking the mode, and I just talked about my journey of getting on the other side. I don't think people really realize the hold that a narcissistic relationship can have on you because, they strip everything away from you. And
hmm,
even if you're out of the relationship, doesn't mean that your mind is free from it. So it's almost like the slave syndrome. You're free, but then you still have the same behaviors as though you're still in slavery.
it's very interesting that you say it that way, because I don't. Just as you just said, I don't think people realize the effects of being in a relationship with a narcissistic person. They start they start to think that everything that they're doing is wrong. They can't think unless that narcissistic person tells them it's okay to think that way. They can't show their emotion because the narcissistic person is never going to see their fault in it, and they're always going to make it seem like it's your fault.
Your fault and that you're crazy because they will tell you conversations never happen. Even if you have receipts, they will argue you down and tell you no, it didn't happen this way. They are always the victim. They
Hmm.
never do anything wrong. It's always your fault. And you get to a point where you don't want to argue anymore because no matter
Right.
what you say, it's going to an argument's going to happen. And it just weighs you down and you just basically lose your voice.
And that's huge, losing your voice, because you start to think that I'm not good enough, or am I right? Your self-confidence basically diminishes.
It does. It disappears, and it takes a lot to realize that they don't have any power over you anymore. And it's okay to rediscover who you are.
Mm.
And a lot of times people have, PSTD and don't even,
PTSD?
yeah, they don't even realize they have it.
You're right. Sometimes people don't even realize that they're in an abusive relationship until they're out of it and they look back on it.
Right. And depending on the type, because there's like 5 different levels of narcissism. So the worst narcissistic person, your recovery can take a little bit longer. And people think you're just supposed to snap out of it. And a lot of times, people who are abused or victims of narcissistics become a narcissistic themselves. And they don't
Wow.
even realize that they have become the narcissist.
Right. Absolutely. So, do you write about this quite a bit?
Um, no, I just wrote a couple of stories, but I do plan on writing a book. And it's the aftermath of narcissism and how to reclaim everything you lost, your soul, your self-esteem.
So, is this one of the um not one of the stories, but is this what you're going to be speaking on with the literacy code?
A combination. So I just well, it's finished. Um, I just developed a whole system about the mindset. And is it your friend or is it foe? And a lot of times, and the reason why I say that, it could be your friend if you're in a good place, but if you have suffered from some kind of trauma or a series of trauma, it affects how
Mhm.
you think, it affects how you behave, it affects so much. And even if you're not trying to make the wrong decision, that survivor mode will just kick in and make a decision for you. Um, and so I developed a whole course on how to recognize if you're in survivor flight
Wow.
because it makes a difference on everything in your life. And so not only did I create e the ebook, but then I created a workbook on how to work through it and identify and how to reset your mind and your nervous system. Because you can reset the mind, but if you don't reset the nervous system, you're just going to end up in this rat race
Right.
in the wheel.
But now I would venture to ask though, because you're right, you do have to be in a certain mindset. But sometimes it takes a lot of convincing for somebody to even realize that they may need a course like this. So, how does a person go from thinking that they have it all together and they don't need any help to finally taking the step to downloading your ebook or taking the course?
So what I did was is I created an app and it's an assessment. So it's
Okay.
just a series of questions and it will let you know where you stand on the mindset. And it's
Hmm.
up to you to decide on if you want to stay or if you want to change. And if you really want to understand why you make the decisions that you make, this book will definitely help you out.
And what's the name of it again?
It's called Your Mindset, Friend or Foe. Friend or Foe. How smart people or why smart people make bad decisions and how to stop.
Wow. And where can people find that?
Well, I should have the link sometime this week ready.
Oh,
Uh,
wonderful. So this is going to be brand new.
it is brand new. It is in the final design piece. So, but it's very impact. It's a definitely a different perspective when it comes to this. Um, so people can always just try the assessment, and if they like the assessment, then they could go into the ebook and the workbook.
Okay, so now in the meantime, once the link is ready, can they go to your website to get the link there?
Uh, there will be. I'm creating a special page for it.
Well, I know you are very systematic. I was looking at some of your credentials, and 43 awards in design, strategy, printing, and innovation. You're a Goldman Sachs, 10K SB alumni ambassador, vice president of the Tampa Bay Black Chamber of Commerce, international speaker. So you are doing a lot. So I know that everything that you do it with intention.
Yes, I do. And a lot of things that I have been working on in the background are all about to come out to the light in
Love
the
it.
forefront. And, I'm still working on you know, being seen, but I am handing that off so I can no longer be in my way.
That is so big. A lot of times we stand in our own way and we don't even realize it. We think everybody else is the problem, and sometimes it winds up being us.
Hmm. Yes, what I really learned about myself um, during the process of self discovery about about the aftermath of a narcissistic relationship is that during the relationship, I developed this fear. It started off with like a stage fright, but then it turned into this fear similar to, I don't know what they call it, but the people who won't leave their house?
Oh yes, yes.
Yes.
I don't remember what they call that fear, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes. And so that fear of stepping out, really being seen, showcasing, um, your work, just was petrified. The house could be on fire, and I would say, I think I'm going to stay inside. So, and that's how this mindset um, course came about, was I needed to understand why I thought the way I thought, and what about this fear that had such a grip on me that I was willing to lose everything because of it.
Hmm.
Um, and I was okay with the house burning down. I mean, I wasn't, but at the same time, I wasn't ready to go outside because I was comfortable being inside, being in the background, hiding behind my computer, even though I knew I needed to go outside and adventure. And
Mhm.
so,
Well, this realization that you came for yourself, does that help you to better identify with the people that you hope to help with your course?
yeah, because not only does this workbook um, talk about the mindset, but it also helps people who are stuck.
Yes.
I don't think people realize that 42% of business failure is because of mindset
Mm.
and working in survival mode. They don't say that, but in research shows that if your mind is not aligned properly, you'll make so many bad decisions, and you'll make decisions out of fear. You'll make decisions against your gut feelings. And even though your gut is telling you don't do it, because you're in survival mode, that part of the brain just kicks in and says, just do it.
Wow.
Which, as a business owner, that has a profound effect on if your business is thriving or not thriving.
Yeah, so that mindset actually is not just for interpersonal relationships, it's also for your business dealings as well.
Yeah, because this is how imposter syndrome kicks in, and why, a lot of times we don't know who we are. We have a hard time defining who we are because something in the mind is preventing us from doing it. So to be able to identify it, it opens up the doors for opportunities and to change your whole livelihood, your family dynamics, your business dynamics, and culture. So it's very important. I mean, if you look at society today, look how you can see the mental crisis,
Man,
and
I'm,
it's not. Oh, sorry.
no, go ahead.
It's not just adults; it's kids too. So if
And I
we
think it often starts in childhood, and it's something that we never get over, and then it winds up um, it winds up becoming something that we deal with as adults, and we're sitting here like, why am I like this? And we don't realize that we grew up this way.
right, when the book is out of design, I will definitely send you the link. You can look at it and give me your honest feedback on it.
I would love that. I mean, shoot, I might have a couple of truths I need to come face to face with on here. I'm looking forward to it.
It, um, and I threw a little bit of fun. I created this BS um, game where you can see if you're BSing yourself,
Mm,
telling yourself things just so you don't have to face the hard truth. And it's just a little fun because sometimes we don't like to admit our flaws. Some of us don't. But for those who are willing to not only say, Yay, I got my flaws and I want it to do better, I want to make better decisions. And this is a great way for them to identify the base of their decision making by using actual research and study. So this just isn't, oh, this is what Kamisha thinks. There's
right.
I got resources in there that actually back up what I'm saying. So
Wow. Well, Kamisha, I'm really looking forward to this course and this ebook going live. And I congratulate you on not only facing your own truths, but helping other people to face their truths as well. So I wish you all the best with this project. And also, um, I wish you the best with the literacy code. I look forward to seeing you on the tour.
thank you. Same here.
Thank you so much. All right. So, unfortunately, we have reached the end of the hour. It really went fast. So, thank you once again for being on the show.
Thank you and have a great night.
And you do the same. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
All right. So, that is it. Another episode of the Horizons Author Lounge, our first show of the month of November. Remember, we will be highlighting authors who are part of the Literacy Code and the Rights Movement all month. So you're going to learn so much about the Literacy Code, Creators' Rights Movement, and everything else that we are doing. So thank you so much for supporting the Horizons Author Lounge, helping us to continue to grow and be a service to so many authors. And then also, I want to thank everybody who participated in Launch Week and got a copy of Surprise Swipe Right. Whether you got an advanced copy, whether you got an ebook, or I met you at a book signing. Thank you so much for helping this book do so well. And if you've read it, please consider dropping a review for your girl, because as we all know, and as I always say, there are so many people out there who will not read a book without looking at the reviews. So please drop a review. We put the link to the Amazon page right here on the screen and in the comments. Go ahead, get your copy of Surprise Swipe Right, and start off your holidays right with a really funny, big, easy holiday love story. And it's a comedy, so it's not all sappy and everything. You're going to enjoy it. All right, y'all. That's all we have for tonight. God bless you guys. I will see you tomorrow on Black Authors Matter TV. And then I'll see you right back here next Monday for 2 more amazing authors. So you guys have a wonderful evening, and God bless your week, and keep reading. Bye-bye.